Welcome everyone to another video, and in this video we are going to do some Go Battle League, Ultra League practice. What I'm presuming is that it's going to be like blind 3, similar to like at GoFest or at Dortmund, where you just walk in, give your 3 Pokemon, you don't know what the other person's having, all that stuff, as long as it's allowable. So for Ultra League, I decided to go Registeel, Giratina, Altered, and Cresselia. So this is a very legendary heavy team. Let me know down in the comment section below if you want me to run a team with no legendaries. I can certainly give that a shot. And basically what I did was I did a best of 1, similar to what they did at GoFest, and asked people to send to me. So I have a number of different people sending me battles. So I'm going to lead with Cresselia. I like Cresselia as a lead because I can actually beat Giratina Altered in some shield scenarios. I think in the 1, in the 2. Just because it's able to get to Aurora Beam and Moonblast. I'm running Psycho Kai on mine, and I'm running Shadow Claw on my Giratina Altered, which I feel is like a pretty safe switch in most situations. So let's see how this goes. So I'm going to lead Cresselia into Scissor, which is not a great situation at all. So I'm going to switch out into Giratina, and these bug moves are not going to do very much damage. Next Scissor, going to hit the Ancient Power, hoping for the boost, because I'm expecting to get counter switched. So I take a pretty good chunk, and I get counter switched into another Giratina. So I have a little bit of an energy advantage, not too big, and certainly I'm chunking away at this Giratina. So I tried to QSA there. I'm gonna have to shield. Oh, I don't have to shield to survive that. I could have survived that regardless and got off the Shadow Claw, but let's see here. I do hit the back-to-back, so it puts me in a pretty decent situation. And I burn both shields. I'm not really sure what I did here, so I do end up. So he ends up burning both energies, so which is perfectly fine with me. And then I really should have. This is probably an okay move on my part. My grocery orders apparently being late. So it goes for the Dragon Claw. These Shadow Claws are certainly hurting, but not doing a ton of damage. And I'm going to immediately switch out into Scizor. Going to be met by this Charizard. I make a pretty big strategic error here. So first off, like, I could have shielded here. I should have shielded here. And I'll explain why in a little bit. One, because that Blast Burn one-shots me. The second thing is that I was pretty much out of charge move, so I definitely could have Focus Blast and KO'd that Charizard. And then Scizor versus Steelix, that's pretty much a wrap. Like, there's nothing that this Scizor can actually really hurt Registeel with. And I could just Focus Blast that Registeel afterwards. But then I put myself in this pretty not so ideal scenario. They both generate energy fairly quickly, but I was already out of charge move. And then here I lose the CMP tie. I'm actually not sure that would have KO'd. Let me double check. I doubt that would have KO'd. That Scizor is at like about 30%. But well played. Machin's always a very strong challenger. Let's see, Cresselia. So Aurora Beam would have did 28 of 138. So not enough to 137. So not enough to KO. I need to do like even a Moonblast. Probably would have won me that match. So I'm gonna run the same team. Against all these competitors, and I'm just trying to like learn and master. So this matchup here, Armored Mewtwo is actually very tanky, a very good Pokemon in Ultra League, but in this matchup, it does go in favor of Cresselia in the 0 and the 1 shield, and I just need to straight Moonblast, and I'm in a good position. So as you can see here, these confusions are not doing very much damage, and these Rock Slides. The thing is, I just outbulk Armored Mewtwo. Armored Mewtwo still like the top 5 most bulkiest Pokemon in, and he's gonna switch out into Giratina. So I'm gonna go for the Aurora Beam. Gonna deal super effective damage or draw a shield. I end up drawing the shield. I'm okay. It did its job. Almost took out Armored Mewtwo. And then I'm not sure if he undercharged that one or if that's actually how much damage it does. So I am going to go for the Flash Cannon. It looks like he's trying to back-to-back. Most Giratinas are running Ancient Power, Shadow Claw. Shadow Claw, Dragon Claw, Ancient Power. So going for the boost is definitely the right idea. Especially you want to potentially flip this matchup. But Registeel Giratina is actually a very close matchup. Let's see here. Yeah, Registeel does win the one shield with like 14 HP left, 0 energy. But they are right at a Shadow Claw that does 14 damage, so likely probably would have killed me, but I'm going to switch out into Giratina because I don't want to get farmed. I'm not in a particularly great situation. It goes into Mamoswine. This is not a good situation for me. I did go for the Ancient Power, even though it's neutral, just because I wanted to potentially get the boost in order to be a little bit more tanky. But looks like because of the energy advantage I had from switching in, that that's actually a pretty good switch in on his part, but I'm able to take it out with the subsequent Shadow Claws. So and then I sack my Registeel. And then now I have a couple options here. And the time is almost running out here. So I realize the time is almost running out. So I'm not going to try to farm down here. I'm just going to immediately take out this, or try to immediately take out this Mewtwo. And then we end up timing out. So I end up in a pretty decent situation for me. And allowing me to take that match. Next up, we're against Shagnus. Hashtag girls that PvP. One of the leaders in that movement, and then as well one of the coordinators in the Ohio region. So definitely check out some of the tournaments that she's coordinating. So this is an interesting matchup. Latios doesn't scale that well to Ultra League, so I am gonna look to hit the Aurora Beam to draw a shield, which I do. And these Dragon Claws are not going to do too much. Let's take a look at this matchup. Latios is a pretty decent Pokemon in... Latios wins the 2 shield. But you lose the... So anyways, Melmetal is actually a very good pick in Ultra League. But the thing, and I should have went to Registeel because I do have Focus Blast. But if this Melmetal is carrying Flash Cannon, is able to beat Giratina. I'm pretty sure. Let's see here, Melmetal versus Giratina. It should be able to beat Giratina in the one shield matchup. It does have to bait. Looks like it does have to bait the one Flash Cannon. You could probably just go straight Flash Cannon and win that matchup. Yeah, you can go straight Flash Cannon and you win the one shield matchup. I switch out to Moonblast to KO this Latios, and then here comes Melmetal. But the thing is, like, if you're carrying Superpower, that should allow you to beat Registeel. I doubt they can just go straight. Maybe it doesn't actually. You probably have to bait. Actually, no, it doesn't. So there's no situation where Melmetal actually beats. It's pretty close though. It's pretty close. It's just tricky because Superpower does result in a one stage defense and attack debuff, unlike close combat, for example. So I'm gonna switch out into Registeel. Gonna put up the shield. I actually really don't need to put up shields here, but I actually probably should put shields later, just because if she ends up getting the ancient power boost, it's better for me to shield later. But I'm in a pretty good situation right now. Registeel is a massive tank in Ultra League. Its bulk is pretty insane. Yeah, very insane. So, and then plus at level 41, only better. Next up, a French trainer. Met him at GoFest. Super nice guy. Also on Twitter. All these people are on Twitter, so definitely give them a look. And these are all like their first looks at Ultra League as well. So again, Armored Mewtwo, really popular pick. It actually beats Registeel, which is probably one of the reasons why it's such a popular pick. And then it beats Registeel, then it's able to beat like basically the rest of the field except for Giratina and Cresselia. That's pretty much it, right? Like just because it's able to outbulk a lot of things. Not too many counters for. Just because I guess Alolan Muck would probably beat it. Let's see here. Almost for sure Alolan Muck. Alolan, Mewtwo, Armored. Yeah, Alolan Muck does beat it, but basically it beats like almost everything else. Oh man, just barely survives. So now I maintain switch advantage, and which is a pretty important thing considering Togekiss is probably the best Charmer without the Buddy Plus system. It's the best overall one, just because it's the bulkiest, and this is a very good matchup for me. And I'm going to go for the Flash Cannon, and I do draw a shield. Likely it's going to be Flamethrower. Probably should have shielded here, but I'm still in an okay situation. And then I'm just going to instant switch just because Togekiss is such a bad matchup for me in the back. And this Heracross, I completely wall Heracross unless it's carrying Earthquake, which is a very uncommon moveset, typically carrying Mega Horn and Close Combat. And you definitely want to just Mega Horn here, even though it's single resisted. Close Combat is double resisted and would leave you in a pretty bad situation because of the 2-stage defense drop. And able to take it out, and now I'm just going to double Ancient Power to finish off this match. That's why Giratina is so dangerous, because it's able to hit for super effective damage against the best Charmer. Certainly Clefable at level 41 would probably beat it in terms of the overall best Charmer. And then Grand Bull is pretty interesting too because it has Crunch and Close Combat to deal quite a bit of damage. And everyone knows how Stark, one of the best trainers in the world. We've battled Ultra League a couple times, and I know he's certainly working and trying to work on his team as well. So let's see how we do. So again, gonna lead off Cresselia. Gonna be met by Laparis. Laparis is a very good pick for Ultra League. Its bulk carries over quite well. You want like a 7. Actually, let me see what the 100% IV Lapras is, or rank 1 Lapras. It's 6, 15, 13. So you can get one off like Best Friend trade. Goes for the Ice Beam. I'm still debating on whether or not Ice Beam or Skull Bash is better. that one stage buff is certainly quite valuable. It goes for another Ice Beam. And I would just really want to beat this Lapras to the charge move, so I'm going to go for the Aurora Beam. He surprisingly doesn't shield, which is pretty shocking to me. So he goes into Armored Mewtwo. I'm like, okay, I'm just going to go for the Moon Blast, just because Cresselia is tanking these confusions quite well. A little bit of risky play for me because I was subsequently faint right after that. And now I'm in a pretty good situation. I don't need to shield, and I just want to be able to do as much damage to this Mewtwo as possible. And then this is not gonna KO just because it's very tanky, and I am looking just to farm down after this. It's about 4 confusions for every rock slide. It might be a little bit less for the last one, or third one, I mean. So I'm in a pretty good situation right now. So gonna hit this Dragon Claw. I know that this Lapras is probably out of charge move, and I'm not out of charge move, so I'm like, okay, I'm fine. I'm just gonna farm down afterwards. He actually ends up going for Surf. I'm surprised he didn't go for Surf during the Cresselia matchup. Probably would have made it closer. He probably actually would have. No, I guess I ended up winning that matchup in all shield scenarios. Really? Okay, yeah. Oh, that's with confusion. Let's see the Psycho Cut. Psycho Cut, it actually ends up being a draw in, yeah, okay. That makes sense. So I'm in a pretty good matchup here. I do resist the Dragon Breath. Kingdra is actually really amazing. Actually, probably one of the picks I would use with a no legendary team. And go for the Focus Blast. And able to take it out and win that particular matchup. Next up, I'm against a Minnesota trainer. So hopefully we'll see him around when I go to Minnesota sometime this year. I can say that now that it's 2020. He's interesting. He's carrying Dragon Tail. Afterwards, he did say he's carrying the wrong Dragonite. I actually don't know if that would actually one-shot. I doubt it actually would one-shot, but it would do a lot of damage. A nice switch in on his part. So Aurora Beam would do 118 of 145, so not quite a one-shot. Kind of a dangerous switch in for me, but Registeel should beat Snorlax. Even if Snorlax is carrying Earthquake. Yeah. Even if it's carrying Earthquake, I can just Focus Blast and Flash Cannon. Earthquake would do just under half the damage. But I would still be able to comfortably win. I do lose the 2-shield matchup, but that requires me to get double baited on Body Slam. And I'm just barely able to farm down. He probably had a Body Slam, which would do about 17 damage, but 10%. It'd still survive it. And he comes in with... I'm going to come in with Giratina, just because I feel pretty decent about that matchup in the back. And I don't want to get farmed down. Likely just a Rock Slide. It needs to save these shields for the Dragonite, because Dragonite did build up quite a bit of energy because it didn't throw a charge move. So I am going to put up a shield. I was worried that it was going to be Outrage or something. I think I let this one go through. Ends up being a Dragon Claw. It does a pretty decent amount of damage. And I'm going for the Dragon Claw. I actually need to know what actually does more raw damage. Giratina Altered Dragonite. It should do Dragon Claw majority of the time, but Ancient Power actually does, if I'm going to just throw one charge move, does do more damage than Dragon Claw. So something to note. Pretty 1.8 DP versus 1.62 with the chance for a boost. So you definitely want to take that into consideration. So GG there. And I believe my last person I'm battling is Dragon Silk or Dragon's Ilk. Very popular, very intense local trainer. Very good. Extremely good. So I start lead off with Cresselia into Drifblim. I do think that this is not a great matchup for me, but maybe it's not as bad as I just instantly switched. And I go for the Ancient Power. Yeah, it's not a good matchup for me. Shadow Ball would do about half damage, so switches out into Registeel. And here's where I make a pretty critical error. So I tried to go for the Ancient Power boost initially. And then here I realized that he doesn't have Flash Cannon. So I was like, okay, great. He doesn't have Flash Cannon. And then I get kind of greedy here. I was like, okay, but I need this Giratina for later. So I switch out and expecting this to be another Focus Blast. Ends up being Hyper Beam. So I was like, oh god. This would have been like an okay switch in. Because Cresselia versus Registeel with just Flash Cannon. Probably Registeel probably still wins. It does. But it would leave Registeel at 14 health. And plus I had like the slight HP advantage versus it. So, and then I end up losing the CMP tie here. I was just... Not that this Moonblast would have only done 27. Actually, probably would have KO'd. Yeah, no, it wouldn't have KO'd. But it would have put it like pretty low that I could have farmed down afterwards with Shadow Claws instead of like having to throw 2 charge moves. So, stupid decision on my end. Very stupid decision. Yeah, because then you're going to see what's in the back. And then I definitely could have played it out a lot better. So I desperately need to KO here. And debatable, I could have... I would have got the debuff here anyways because of the Icy Wind. Icy Wind's pretty nice for it. And then he switches out into Blastoise. And then I know I'm going to lose. There's a... even if I bait here, and he actually doesn't fall for this bait... and then I hit Focus Blast, I end up losing this matchup just barely. He did a really good job of not letting me farm there. If he would have let me farm, I maybe would have been able to win. But in the one shield matchup, even with the bait and landing a Focus Blast and landing a Flash Cannon, it leaves Blastoise with 9 HP. Which is or 8 HP, I should say. And he has a hundo there, so like it's already a pretty predictable matchup. So well played on his side. If he would have let me farm, I could have. If I landed the bait, then landed 2 Focus Blasts, I probably could have won, but it wasn't meant to be, and we end up timing out. So GG. What are my thoughts on this overall team? I thought it was actually pretty good. This is a pretty good. I don't want to say beginner team. It's a pretty good team. Basically, if you don't, Cresselia wins a lot of neutral matchups in the one shield. You saw it beat like Armored Mewtwo. It has a chance to beat Giratina, and that's not something that people expect. That's able to beat Giratina in the heads up shield matchups. Even if Giratina is running the most dangerous moveset against Cresselia, which would be Shadow Claw and Shadow Sneak, which is very uncommon, it ends up winning if it gets like an Ancient Power buff. And then the switch into Giratina is pretty good because even if they come in with Togekiss, you're going to be able to land a lot of Ancient Powers and put a lot of shield pressure in. Then you can just come in with Registeel afterwards and do a lot of damage. So pretty good team. I do think that there's some other teams I want to test out, but let me know what you think of this team of 3. What other teams of 3 you want me to try? What teams of 3 do you want me to try with no legendaries? Yeah, let's start practicing, getting ready for Go Battle League. So anyways, I'm going to leave it there. If you guys like this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see everyone in the next video.